Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Wizards Outlook. Joined, as always, we got Cardo W. Jr., Raymond Lyons. I'm Wilson Tarpe Jr. And Wizards, they've won 2 games in a row. Today, they faced the Sixers at home at Capital One Arena, and the Sixers snapped the win streak with a 117-96 victory. Before we get to Ray and Cardell to see what they have to say about today's results, got a quick word, folks over at Ooze and Us. Let's take care of your stresses and blues, shall we? Join us for happy hour, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. daily. Get over to Ooze and Ahs to see the menu for hours and more. Order from the Georgia Avenue location today. For those of you that order via Uber Eats. All right, Ray, we'll start with you. Your thoughts on Washington falling to Philadelphia this evening?
Um, they just got bullied, man. To be perfectly honest, Philly just physically imposed their will on them, and Washington couldn't respond. Cardell always talks about guys that when they see the Wizards, their eyes get big. Tobias Harris, one of them dudes, man. We saw it last year in the playoff series, and this game just kind of continued. I mean, he just feels like nobody can guard him, and you know they've yet to prove him wrong. Embiid did what he does. He had a monster game. Korkmaz came off the bench and gave them a spark. You if you for the Wizards, if you're keeping things, close with Embiid and Harris having the type of games they were having, and then those guys go to the bench, you can't let Korkmaz be the dude that kind of puts your lights out, so to speak. That was I feel like that first time when Embiid and Tobias Harris sat down, that was a good time for the Wizards to kind of take control of the game. They took a 6 point lead into the second quarter, but then after that, it was all Philly. That second quarter was a monster, man. Philly won that quarter 38-24. The Wiz, their offense just left the building. And in Philly, they valued their possessions. They shot 50% as a team. And it's not like the Wizards were turning the ball over crazy. Philly, they just couldn't get stops. And yeah, Philly took full advantage, man. It was it's just one of them games, man. And on the Wizards side, Trez got a little frustrated. He's got to keep his head. He can't get into those mind games with Embiid. He ends up getting ejected, and the game was pretty much going Philly's way at that point. But after that, it just went completely downhill. But but yeah, man, it was a runaway for the Sixers. They pretty much dominated in every aspect. The in the first half they were cleaning up on the offensive glass and getting putbacks. That type of stuff. It it, it breaks you as a team because a lot of those possessions, the Wiz actually played good defense, but the defensive possession isn't over until you secure the basketball. And Philly was able to get offensive rebounds and get second chance points. You know, um, the Wizards, man, their bench performed. Dinwiddie started the game off aggressive. He's been starting to look a little like himself recently. Um, but yeah, he wasn't able to keep that going for the duration of the game. Kisper, he got another start. He didn't have he wasn't as effective as he was against New York. We're not expecting him to play that lights out every single game, but it's a good sign that he still was, even though he wasn't hitting like he was still taking those shots, that they need him to take within the offense. So yeah, man, it's a bump in the road. They won two in a row. They dropped this one. But even though they lost by a healthy margin, I don't know if goes across the board. I still didn't get that sense of hopelessness watching this game, as some games in the past where they just looked like they weren't even interested in playing basketball. But yeah, they did get thoroughly dominated tonight.
Cardell, you on mute.
it was Embiid. You know what I'm saying? Just get right to it. He came in, he got Gaff in foul trouble right away, and that put them on their heels because Gaff was limited. And then Trez and other guys tried to do the best they can, but Joel B pretty much seems to always have his way with the Wizards. Um, you know, I look at it like with this current Philly team, obviously without Ben or whatnot. It's similar. Doc is using this team is similar to like a basketball version of a football team that has a power running back. Like the Tennessee Titans. You got Juggernaut. We're gonna keep running up the middle. What I'm saying? You come in with the game plan, we stop him, we win the game. We're not worried about the quarterback. Fine. You start off running, he get 2 yards, you think you're doing something. You know what I mean? Then you get fatigued and he's still going hard, hard, hard. Next thing you know, it's 5 yards. Then he eventually breaks you. And then he eventually gets the long run that breaks you. Now the DB's got to come up and it just compromises your whole defense. And then he's still getting yards. And now you're broken because now Tannehill's back there finding wide receivers and stuff, the very person you weren't worried about. And now the floodgates open and you get broken. And that's what Philly does. You know what I mean? Destroy you with Embiid, destroy you with Embiid. Eventually you think you're doing something. Then the points are piling up. He's getting rebounds. He's getting to the free throw line. He's an excellent free throw shooter, 80%. And now you got double. Then he's getting your bigs in foul trouble. Now you got guys that didn't even come in thinking they were going to guard him. Now they got to guard him. And you got wings. Everybody it's a mismatch. And now you just throwing the whole team at him. And then you got Tobias Harris waking up. He going to work. You know what I mean? It just opened the floodgate. And this was Seth Curry not even shooting well. You know what I mean? Because I saw what Doc was trying to do. He was running pick and roll with Seth and Embiid. You know what I'm saying? If you come double, then Seth gonna light you up. He just ain't hit his shots. It would have been ugly if he was hitting the shots. You know what I mean? So it's just the greatness of Embiid. And then, like you said, Ray Trez a vet, man. He got to know better. That's what Embiid does. He's old school in that aspect where it's mental warfare on top of the physical warfare. Of course, he'll take like Embiid, he's slick with it. He'll take a tech. He jacked him up, you know what I'm saying? Let him know he there. Because Trez is pretty much the only kind of physical guy in the front court that will bang back with him about him. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna get you out the game. You know what I'm saying? You got the dunk, and Trez was like, and they ran back down court, and you can see them be like pointing at himself, like give it to him. And he went right to work, screamed, yeah, and then he just walked past him, and Trez got in his feelings and pushed him right in front of the ref, and I just shook my head. Like, he got you, dog. Even when you thought you got him, he ended up getting you. And now you going to the back, and that pretty much ends the game because now, I mean, outside of Gaff, who's just not ready. That's what I mean by his field's not ready for these bigs yet. He got a lot of experience. He got a lot of catching up to do, man. Because really, against a guy like Embiid, these dominant bigs, these Giannis's, these Jokers, all those guys like that, the defense starts before they even cross half court. You got to be at the spot, and he's not even there yet. He's beating them at the spot. You're already dead. You know what I'm saying? And that's why all they got to do is go to work. So. It's just something you gotta learn. That's why they need TB back ASAP. They need the depth. They need them for those guys. Not necessarily every game, but you need a depth for those type of bigs and everything. And then once he got going, you just feed off Embiid, and they know what to do. They're veteran. They've been to playoff wars. It's not hard, but the second and third quarters. I know Wizards Twitter. They get on a 2-game winning streak, and everybody like, yeah, we don't need Bill. That's when you need Bill. When you can't get a bucket, that's what he's there for. You know what I'm saying? That's what you need. And you need an ISO score. Philly got theirs. It's just inside. You know what I mean? So, that's all it was. It was just Embiid, man. He dominated. That's what he's supposed to do. And obviously Doc ain't complicating things. You're gonna go old school with it. You're gonna play inside out. You know what I'm saying? He cooked them, and honestly, he would have put 50 on the head if Trez would have stayed in the game because he got him fired up. But when Trez went out, he knew, like, all right, this ain't even a fair fight. Let me just play within the system. But he was amped up. He was going to go at Trez, you know what I'm saying, and really try to prove a point. So, it is what it is. But like you said, Ray, it wasn't like they just stopped competing. They did the best they could. But, when the monsters got it going, the monster got it going. You don't have a monster to match up with them, you know what I'm saying? And then the Wizards, the thing about them is stop selling for so many threes and the free throw shooting, Lord Jesus. You're not even that's how Sixers win. Like they're excellent. I think they're number one in the league. They shoot 80% as a team. They got like 10 dudes shooting 80% or better from the free throw line. So if the game is close, that's how they pull out the wins because they're gonna get to the line. Obviously, starting with Embiid, and they're going to make their points. They're going to get their points that way. So they could beat you old school grinded out ways, or they could bomb you. You know, they got shooters over there. So their thing is the defensive end, and that's where they really miss Ben at. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know they only 10th in the league giving up points, but their ratings like the 20th. So that's how you saw the Wizards. They made a run when Embiid was off the floor. When he got back in, he closed up the middle. He's a presence. And I feel like at times the Wizards were timid to attack him. You know what I mean? And that's where, you know, all that settling for jumpers and stuff like that, you can't just turn it on when you get a monster big. And against a big like that, that's exactly what you should do. You got to attack him. You try to get him foul trouble, make him think, you know, make him at least feel that you will attack him. They kind of avoided him. And outside Trez was battling down there, but they kind of avoided him, and they just fell right into their hands. So, you know, it went pretty much about how I expected it, considering all the factors involved.
Yeah, no, I'm with you guys. It's been a consistent theme this year. We saw the type of night Jokic had against this team, and B, like you guys have both mentioned, he's had several types of these nights against this team. You know, you see Giannis. I'm sure when they see Giannis again too, like when you have those special players at that position, like there's a big gap between having one of them to go back at each other and having folks to, you know, just try to slow them down. And it was a monstrous performance. Dude shot 12 of 17 from the floor tonight and 10 of 11 from the line. Like, I don't really have much to add from you guys. Somebody gets going like that. I mean, like I said, it was a big time performance. And then with Washington, yeah, you saw what they missed. But as Ray said, there's nothing to really dwell on. They got another 3 games coming up, and you know they're gonna have to figure out how to bounce back. But I'm gonna ask you guys, as always, player of the game. I know I hate asking these questions after you guys talk about the game, but I have to ask you. So, player of the game, you guys say at the same time, or just give me a dirty look, and we all know that it means Joel Embiid. But however you guys put it,
You said it.
all right. Who do you guys want to choose? Several contestants for X Factor tonight.
I mean, you gotta go with Tobias. You know, he opened the floor. You know, the Wizards had the lead after the first quarter, but once he started getting going, it opened the floor for Embiid to really go to work. You know what I'm saying? And they couldn't double. You know what I mean? And you know, I hate to call him out, but you know, Kuz, you know, coming in the year, he felt like he was, you know, on par. He said a quote, on par with like Tatum and those guys or whatever. These are the games where you show it, and you ain't showing it though. You know, it is what it is. You didn't double when he didn't shoot well. You know, I think we all in agreement. You know, Wizards fans and all that. We don't want to hear the excuses. You know, Bill not there, they're wounded. KCP not there, guys are down. Neto right before the game. You know what I mean? They needed you to. Hey, you got Tatum ability, show Tatum production. You know what I mean? And that wasn't there. You know what I mean? So, you know, that's just what it is, man. You know, and Tobias took it to him. You know, I mean, when you see him be like, go ahead, and walk into the other side. I mean, dog, that's what I mean by your pride should kick him out. Like, it is not sweet over here. Y'all got me up. Let me get this stopped and shut this down immediately. But nah, I was like, go ahead. So that's why I like really Embiid. I mean, he just played within the game. He would just play within the system. If he really wanted to go and kill more, it could have easily been 50 and 20, easy. So he was just trying to get in there and get this W and get up out of here. Hopefully, get back to Philly. You know, no protocol stuff happening. That's all.
That's right.
Yeah, I agree. Once Tobias got going, the game was out of hand, and the Wizards just didn't have an answer because, you know, again, like they started off doubling Embiid, you know, with conviction, but when that's not an option anymore, like it just gets ugly. So yeah, I give it to Tobias.
All right, I think we had 1 or 2 comments before we have a comment real quick. And then we'll talk about what Washington has next before we get out of here. Pierre wants to know, did you guys see Denny and Bertans going off? Wonder what that was about. Assume he's talking about on the bench.
I thought you meant. Thought you meant by production.
Oh,
That's what I was trying to. I was kind of confused. I'm like, am I tripping? Look, man, frustration, man. It is what it is, dog. Look, man, when you getting physically dominated, it's one thing to get skill dominated. You just shake the other man's hand. You worked on your game. Is that lethal? Do the best you can. But physical, most men, that's a hard pill to swallow, and that's what Embiid brings, though. Like you using everything, all your strength, leveraging, and this dude don't even feel you. He going up, just dunking, up and unders, hooks, jumpers, step back. Um, he bump you and feel like you being fouled, but really he just hooping. He don't feel you and stuff, and then he just run back down court like you weren't even there. That's a hard pill to swallow, and it's happening in front of millions. Whoever's watching, whatever. It's a hard pill to swallow. You know what I'm saying? And that's probably what that was about, man. You seen the dude just literally just tear y'all apart, and it's probably they've gotten into it before about defensive assignments and stuff like that. Guys not being there, not banging, but it is what it is. Who knows what it was really about, man? But that fed into the frustration, man. That's where it comes. Because if it was the other way around, the Wizards was up, it would have been none of that. They'd have been high fiving. It's just that they were getting dominated, and there was nothing that either of them could do.
Ray, did you want to add, or pretty much summed it up?
Yeah, that's about as straightforward as it's gonna get.
All right, just taking a brief look ahead for Washington. Things don't get any easier. Fell to Philadelphia today. They traveled down to Miami to take on the Heat. After that, they come back home. Got the Cavs again. We've seen them several times against the Cavs. You guys know how tough Cleveland is to deal with and put away. They kick off January on New Year's Day. They host the Bulls, another one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference. And then, they this homestand is ugly. You got the Hornets again, and then the Rockets.
I mean, we getting to that point in the year, dog.
Mhm.
Maybe let's call it. Look, that's why that 2 or 3 weeks when they was just dropping games and smacking, we looking at them like, yo, if y'all gonna play like this, just forfeit, dog. Just save the other teams, the protocol, the extra testing, the flights. You know what I'm saying? Like, save the lead, the energy, dog. Like, what is this? NBA players should be getting slaughtered by 25, 30 points each and every game. I don't care how depleted your roster of talent is, man. It shouldn't happen, man. And they put themselves in a hole, and now it's a dogfight because you lose a couple games, you completely out of the play-in. You like eating 11th. It's real now. You know what I mean? And now the COVID stuff is jacking up everything, but especially the league, and that's a big part of it now. Now it's strategy with that. Like, yo, and it hurts because you shut down the G League. So I hope your scouting department's down there taking that joint serious because you're gonna need some of those players. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you see the Warriors, they definitely take it serious. We saw it. They got some young Weatherspoon who came in, like, went to work. You gonna need guys like that can come in and go to work, man. And it just is what it is, man. And you obviously the vibe is Rui will be back any day now. That would be helpful. Then January come, then the countdown for Thomas, begins. You know what I mean? So then the main thing is just keeping them healthy and keeping them from protocol. You know what I'm saying? So they can keep playing, and that's just a chore in itself, man. So, man, it's just they dug themselves in a hole and they're gonna have to get themselves out of it because now it's getting real because you pretty much like a month and a half from All-Star week, and then when All-Star weekend it's definitely real because everybody in playoff mode. They're trying to get home court, especially now with the COVID stuff coming out. Look, I'm trying to be at home, dog.
Right.
So I'm out to let's bust these dudes' heads and have them come to our crib, You see what I'm saying? So it's just dire, So, and let's keep it a bean. What's the elephant in the room? We're getting closer to Bill. It's gonna get loud and louder. Bill, what you doing? What you doing? What you gonna do, Bill? So that's gonna be the elephant in the room. That's all. It's All-Star week where the trade deadline approaches, man. So we gonna see. There's a lot of questions being asked, but they gotta get healthy. That's the first thing first, and then they got to keep competing like they've been, the last 3 games.
Yeah, and I'm happy you brought up both COVID and the trade deadline. Both of those trade deadlines going to come sooner than later. Is it like as soon as like you said, as soon as January gets going, March is not going to feel that far away. It's going to pop right up on you, and especially when you're on a team that's not doing well. Like you said, that noise going to get he's going to feel it even more. Then the other thing, like you said, with the COVID issues, is running rampant around the league, and we're watching teams that, like you said, from scouting departments and teams that were scouting department and teams that were deep enough with roster construction or whatnot, built in to deal with it, and how everyone's going to navigate it, because it's going to affect the standings. And again, going back to portions of the season where, similar last year, we were talking about them dropping games and early on in the year and how it would impact them late. They're in 7th at this moment. This homestand does not go their way. Like you said, Cardell, they're going to literally be on the outside looking in before we get to February. And then what happens when some of those teams, the teams at the top of the East coming out of All-Star break, they, not that the switch hasn't been officially flipped, but it stays on.
Mm-hmm.
Like even Philly, we talk about trade deadline. Look at Philly. Who knows? They can move in and get a key piece like that. I'm like, damn, now they back in the mix. Or the Nets, Kyrie gonna be back at least for road games. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, hell, they going to LA beating them dudes. So I know they down there. They beating them dudes with just James Harden and Patty Mills. Well, Olympics. Patty Mills. It's two versions of that dude.
Oh, I had a question for y'all. I was talking to some of my guys last night. I was like, how everyone always made a big deal about players that cook in the Olympics or the World Championships and the FIBA play. Are the Nets one of the first teams to get the FIBA version of a player back in recent memory?
Yeah.
Dang.
Nah. Ginobili,
okay.
Yeah. It's been a few Dirk, Powell, those Spain teams. All those NBA dudes, they boogie. They came back doing I mean, it's been a few, but role player wise, nah. Patty, just like I do what I do to overseas. It just means nothing to me.
Man, came back. Obviously,
he ain't playing no defense anyway, so
right. Yeah, because them dudes like Ginobili and guys on that level, they are who they are. But like Patty, Olympic Patty and NBA Patty used to be two different dudes, but last night that was the what's their name? The Boomers. That was that Patty Mills, man. Jesus Christ.
Come on, dog. You know what I'm saying? Or like Rudy Fernandez, like some of those Spain guys.
Yeah.
Ola, they pretty much do what they do. But that's what I'm saying, man. It's just, now you add Kyrie to that mix, and obviously KD gonna be back, and it's gonna get real. It's gonna get real, and I'm glad people finally started to see what we've been seeing all season, that the East strong. The East is strong. Think about it. I mean, I'm looking at the dang bro. I mean, you look at the standings, and Atlanta, they, we was like, yo, they might make a run, but they at the bottom of the East right now. You know what I'm saying? Well, they 10th. They're literally in the last place of the play-in. You know what I'm saying? So right now the Wizards will play Atlanta, and I'm like, full strength, both teams full strength. Can you easily say that the Wizards will beat them? Like, that's what I'm saying, man.
Full strength? No, you're not.
Full strength. Teams full strength.
That at all. No. Oh no.
Rui and TB. That's what I mean. Like full strength. You can't. That's gonna be mean. You know what I'm saying? And I think the Hawks' problem is a lot of youngins still trying to prove themselves. Let's call that what it is. You know what I'm saying? So they gotta clean that up. The talent is there. It's nothing. It ain't got nothing to do with that. But yeah, Washington. Like you said, a month from now, bro, they lose a few games this week. They went over. They with the Raptors or something. They gonna replace the Hawks or something.
Like what's it called? Even let's just say, just for the sake of conversation, that the Rockets game is just like maybe the halfway point of this homestand. They can't afford to lose those games leading to the Rockets game. Mm-hmm. Like they just can't. Like as volatile as the East is. Between 7th and 10th, man, it's like a game between
6 and 10.
Teams.
Yeah, 6 and 10.
I'm sorry, 6 and 10.
Philly,
yeah, sorry. I definitely look right at Philly to ignore them. My bad. Yeah.
And like And this is a pretty much a clear example of what the East is. The Cavs are 5th right now, and they're 20 and 13. No one had them being 20 or 13 at this point. Even though I figured they would be better, but nah. And then with Colin Sexton, though, you were like, oh yeah, they definitely done. You see what I'm saying? Like that's why I'm glad Bickerstaff got that contract extension. He's doing a hell of a job right now. He easily coach of the year right now because it's like no one saw that coming. You know,
he deserves every bit of it. And again, to talk about the strength of the East, you know, sometimes it's a little corny at times. You know, that last 10 that pops up in the standings, you got 4 teams in the East right now that are 7-3 in their last 10. 4 teams. That's ridiculous.
That means they eating all West, baby.
Yeah. They went out West and everybody's having dubs.
Look, as long as you avoid Phoenix, the Warriors, and you know, Utah taking their loss too. As long as you avoid Phoenix and you Golden State, you good. Everybody else they food. They doing the Birdman run. Like, yeah, you get right.
Man, you got a good portion of the East going out West, coming back with 3 or 4 W's. Like, oh man, conference play on the way back, on the flight back. Who we got in conference? Like, man, but did you guys have anything else you guys wanted to add?
No, sir.
I want to thank you guys as always for hanging with us tonight. Don't forget to get over to thefocustv.com. We'll see you Tuesday night for our regular edition of the Focus TV. We will see you guys Wednesday morning for a regular edition of the Focus TV, and then Friday evening. We got too much stuff going on. I can't remember anything. So Wednesday morning, Friday night for the Focus TV, and then we will see you guys again very soon because the Wizards have a homestand. They play in Miami on Tuesday. Then after that, it's 4 consecutive home games. So we'll be seeing a lot of you guys this week for sure. As always, follow Focus TV on all your social media mediums so you guys know when we are having Wizards Outlook. As always, for anybody that's new, it's give or take 15 to 20 minutes after a game ends. Then in 15 to 20 minutes, we'll get started. You guys have a great evening.